Desperate home buyers trying to get into property. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. We're going to have a look at an article from news.com.au. This one discussing, well, some of the desperate acts for home buyers. The real estate market is just going crazy at the moment, everyone, or at least in places where there is high demand. Now, before we go through this, I'm just going to bring up two charts. This is, and I'll reload this one now, this is showing you the asking property prices in all of the capital cities, the average. Look at that climb, everyone. There you go. And I'll just full screen this so I can see. Yeah, change on the, 12 months change, we're up 14.8% on all the capital cities. 3-bedroom houses up 12%. If we have a look here at national, this includes all of the regional areas as well, and you can see how that's also steadily climbing up. 12 months up 17.7% for all houses. 3-bedroom houses up 14%, everyone. And just in case you've forgotten, we did have this thing called a recession, the first one we've had in 28 years. There we go. I think I'm peeking on the mic. The first one we've had in 28 years, everyone. But don't worry. So, aspiring home buyers are knocking on doors and leaving letters in desperation. COVID-19 has made buying houses a challenge, but nowhere more so than in this corner of Australia where people keen on a new home are going to extreme measures. Well, is leaving letters extreme measures? Maybe it is. So, aspiring homeowners are so desperate this lockdown, they're knocking on doors and leaving letters at properties they wish to purchase. The phenomenon is only occurring in Victoria, with the state subject to the harshest home inspection restrictions in the country. Inspections and auctions for a house or property are closed and can only be conducted remotely, according to the Victorian Government, for anyone in metropolitan Melbourne or Greater Shepparton. Not even a photographer is allowed inside. Only in New South Wales, which is recording significantly higher coronavirus cases than Victoria and the ACT, one person is allowed to inspect the home. Not in Victoria, though. So you can't even have one person to go in. And, okay, I know we like bagging on real estate agents, but still, how couldn't you do it with one person just to manage that risk? This is where this is getting stupid, everyone. We need to be able to manage the risk of spreading this disease. If it's going to become endemic, we need to live with it. I'm hoping that the stupidity that's been applied to some of these rules, which it's just bureaucrats just going along with it, and they won't question it. That's the problem in these bureaucratic organizations. If you think and question, well, you don't fit the mold, do you? And the worrying thing is, this is where a lot of politicians get recruited, at least on the left. And on the right side too. If you go into lockdown for a week, the market doesn't miss a beat, Ray White, Victoria and Tasmania Chief Executive Stephen Dullins told News.com. Any more than that, and you're starting to see some real impacts. The biggest difference we've seen is people knocking on doors, leaving letters for people. People have an urgent need. They need to buy or sell or rent a property. I think a lot of it also is people renting. And here you go. Here's a letter. Mr. Dullins pointed to one letter drop that had been shared with him, which he said really pulls on heartstrings. The letter reads, to the vendors, I'm very interested in buying your property because these COVID restrictions are making life extremely hard at the moment. I contacted your agent and pleaded with him to allow me 10 minutes of your time to actually see the home. I don't want virtual tours or virtual auctions. I'm 58 years old, just went through some personal family issues, sold my home, and settlement is on the 5th of November. All I want is a few minutes to have a feel for the property. I'm a genuine buyer, don't need financial approval. Mr. Dullins said that the despairing letter wasn't the first one he'd heard of and wouldn't be the last if restrictions didn't change. He also heard of circumstances where someone had knocked on the front door begging to come inside to look at the home. Now, have you seen these domain ads, everyone? Where like the woman sneaking in through the doggy door and they're selling, some gimmick on the app. But it's becoming reality. Is that set in Victoria? Currently, all it can offer people are virtual inspections done over a video call. I mean, there you go. People are buying here in Queensland with sight unseen. That's the new thing, guys, buying sight unseen. So, we're starting to hear stories of people needing bridging loans. Oh, people are getting the moment. People needing to walk away from their deposit. According to Chief Realtor, two major factors are fueling desperation. Firstly, Mr. Allen said people are needing to make really, really major decisions based on virtual inspections. It's a big call to say I'm going to spend $1 million on a property while I'm not going to physically look at it. Yeah, it is. That's a big, big call. And secondly, the supply of listings on the market is just shrinking and shrinking. Vendors are there thinking, why would I put my property in the market if no one can look at it? Well, yes. And why would you put your property in the market and sell? I mean, I'm sure investors are going to. But if you got to move, so won't be homeowners. Mr. Dallin said it was virtually impossible that people hadn't given in and let a prospective buyer into their home against COVID rules. I'd be very surprised if this hasn't happened anywhere in Melbourne, he said. It's technically the wrong thing, but I can understand. 100% people are bending the rules a little bit. Come on. We're all normal. With people taking matters into their own hands and letting others into their home, he said it would be more dangerous if they allowed house inspections under strict public health guidelines in the first place. He's right. He's right there. There's no QR coding or nothing. If you go with a one-on-one with the agent, they're going to make sure you follow all the rules. When the agent is there, they can ensure it's a very professional environment. It's a regulated environment versus something being worked out between two unrelated people. He is calling on the government to engage with real estate professionals to come up with a compromise. This time last year, we were given the opportunity to sit down with government and the health department. We came up with a plan for how this could be done safely. My wish is the ability to do that again and work through it with them. Well, here's the thing, they've already got the plan. Why isn't that just the standard approach now? Remember, we need to look at ways that we can open up the economy, even during these conditions, that we can still keep business moving. You don't want to completely clog up the machine, everyone. The settings just seem extremely difficult, so the figures are in. The most recent figures from auction analyst firm CoreLogic released on Monday supports Mr. Dullin's claims of there being less supply. For the last week, 430 auctions were held across Melbourne. However, of the 320 results from those auctions, 42.5% were withdrawn. A final auction clearance rate of 43.8% was recorded for the Victorian capital. Meanwhile, in Sydney, there were 668 auctions held over the weekend compared to 607 from the previous weekend, 600 in the same time last year. I mean, here's the thing with auction clearance rates. There's always a band of them. So you notice look at the results. So here's the thing. There's a difference between the results and how many auctions there actually were. And they're considering that those 110 auction results that they didn't get they're trending the same as the results they received. But if you fail at your auction, there's more chance that you aren't going to report it. And they've got all the data. They know if a property suddenly becomes for sale, and they can retroactively go back and update it. So it's always going to be slightly to the positive. So you can just see with the auction clearance rate. So you can just consider it a trend, guys. So it's trending down. Last week was the 7th consecutive week where the city recorded a preliminary auction clearance rate above 80%. Across the smaller auction markets, the non-lockdown city of Adelaide was the best performing this week with an auction clearance rate of 88.1, followed by Canberra at 69, Brisbane at 68, and Perth 63. So what is the solution or the takeaway to this, everyone? Well, here we have it. This is desperation. The government has the strategy, the means, and the processes to allow for one-on-one inspections. They just need to do it. They need to do what they've done in the past. It's that simple. Once you develop an approach to something, is this a lack of corporate memory in these organizations? Or are they just so afraid of the new Delta that they're not even going to implement some of the strategies they did before to keep the housing market moving? What do you think? As always, let me know your thoughts Any opinions on this one in the comments down below. Thank you all for watching. If you're a fan of the channel and enjoy what I create here, there's a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. Sign up for SelfWealth or Stake. Use our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy our merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.